for some nerd power? Are you ready for some nerd power? It's the Falcon Paladin Hour, a podcast by Falcon Paladin and Somicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie, talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello, welcome to the podcast, Falcon.
Well, thank you, Sir Somicron. I am Sick Falcon today.
Oh, Jesus, don't give it to me. Stay back 6 paces, please.
How about like 50,000 miles? Is that okay?
That seems excessive.
Yeah. Actually, how many miles do separate us?
Ooh, 18,000? I've already entered the Googling portion of the podcast.
So as the crow flies, it's only about 8,000 miles.
Yes.
Yeah. Fair. So 8,000 miles then. I think that should be maybe not too much, but sufficient.
That might be sufficient, yes. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So what is it? Like, what do you have?
I don't know. Went to the doctor yesterday and she was like, I don't know, man. Tested me for strep and COVID and it wasn't one of those. So she's like, it bronchitis? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Did you tell her about your lifelong battle against chikungunya?
I did not mention that, no.
You didn't give her a proper medical history. It's the chikungunya coming back.
With a vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I do this every year. I think I do. It just starts off with a tickle in the back of my throat, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. And then over the course of 3 days, it gets worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's anybody's business. I don't know. Sometimes it's lasted like a week and a half. Sometimes it's 2 weeks. Sometimes it's maybe 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, I don't know. I think I'm feeling better today than I was yesterday. So that's a good indication that things are getting better, but who knows? I wake up in the morning and it could be worse.
Oh.
Trying to get rest. I'm taking Mucinex to thin out all the garbage phlegm that I'm coughing up and get it out of my body. And
Good thing you've got a casting buffer, so you don't have to work your voice so hard right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point.
So when you told your boss that like I can't work, I'm taking a sick day.
Yeah.
And then you basically just told them, oh, I just can't talk. They go like, well, you're still at your workspace. Like, you want to work anyway? Like, is that what happened, or did they let you off with like, no, go lay down in the room next to the one you're in now with some chicken soup and like under a cozy blanket? What's going on?
On Monday, I felt like garbage and my voice was going. So I was like, I'm not working today. My boss was like, cool.
Okay.
And then today my voice is gone, but I don't feel like garbage. So I did work today. So I think
fair enough.
It's a fair system, I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I do remember before COVID and I was working in the office, this happened. And every morning I'm like hacking up 8 gallons of like gunk out of my lungs. My sinuses are on fire and I'm going into work and I'm like, I'm going to try not to talk to people today. Yeah. I'm like, man, back in the, like, it just feels like the before times. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm deathly ill. I'm going to just go into work and just do my best.
Wow. I know all about going into work. In the last 8 days, I worked 7 of them. Today's my first day off in a week.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Neat. How you feeling? How you holding up?
I went to bed at 7 p.m. I woke up at 2 a.m. I took a nap at 7 a.m. I got up 2 minutes ago.
Excellent. Very good.
I am just sleeping.
I support this wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, EB was working himself to death, but then hurt his knee, so he's been off. So now you are working yourself to death. There's got to be some balance in the universe that way, I think.
I mean, I hurt my ankles, and I didn't. I didn't get any time off. So
well, You don't live in as much of a socialist utopia as Canada, so I guess that's the difference.
I guess. I can hear the sound of Soviet music playing.
Yeah, Soviet anthem blares at the mention of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I think I got it from my brother when we were down in Vegas for the football game last week. About halfway through the trip, he just started like having these deep, like racking coughing fits, and I'm like, okay, dude,
So hold
come
on.
on. And he's like, no, I feel fine, and I'm like, dude,
So you went to Vegas and caught something, is what I'm hearing. I thought what happens at Vegas stays at Vegas.
that is a lie, and it's always been a lie. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was him. Although I don't know. I don't have those same like deep racking coughing. I don't sound like he did. So maybe it's just coincidence, but that's probably what it is. I don't like go around other people.
Probably what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Vegas is funny because like I don't go there as we've established. But what's interesting is I did go there with my cousin and aunt and uncle when I was like 14. They're just like, we're going to Vegas. You want to come? And I was like, sure, I guess. So we went and
do they do the
sorry.
whole traditional Vegas woohoo nonsense? Your aunt and uncle, or are they?
No,
No?
because they were Mormon too. So like
Okay.
they didn't do any of that stuff. But we did like the Camelot Casino had like a dinner and a show kind of thing. And we saw I don't think Penn and Teller were there, but we saw another like stage magician show, and we did buffets, and there was like some low rent amusement park there at the time. And this was like 94. So I mean,
Right.
it was a long time ago. We did that stuff. But what I remember is that everybody was smoking. Like it was just like everywhere we went, inside, outside, smoke, 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 smoke. And there were just like people handing out flyers for the strip joints, like to everyone, like to kids.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. And I'm like, what the?
I have heard similar stories where they'd be like, yeah, I was 8 with my dad walking down the
Yeah.
strip and they handed me flyers for girls with phone numbers on them. And I'm like, I'm with my
Yeah.
I'm 9. I'm with my dad. And like, have fun. Because it's their job to get rid of the flyers. It doesn't really matter to who. As long as it's not in the trash can.
Bingo. That's exactly right. So we just spent some time kind of wandering around the strip, and like it is so much more family friendly now.
Oh yeah.
There's hardly any smoking. We did see just one dude lighting up a cigar in the middle of a casino. So I'm like, okay, so it's not forbidden. Like they didn't say you can't smoke, just nobody is, I guess. I don't know, man. It was weird.
Maybe.
And there was nobody handing out nudie flyers, and there was like, there were some ads on top of taxis and some billboards for like topless whatever, but it was way more family friendly than it was, 30 years ago now.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. That was my first time really going back.
While you were in Vegas, you had canceled the stream, which was fine because you weren't going to be here to play StarCraft with me. I actually got home from work early in the morning. I'd started early, going straight to bed so I could get up a couple hours later because a friend of mine had invited me out to a pole dancing showcase. So while you were in Vegas not checking out the strippers, I was here having an incredibly awkward 2-hour where do I look contest. Like, it was
what did you call it? A pole dancing what?
Showcase. So
what the showcase?
So she does it for fun and like exercise, essentially, my friend. She doesn't do it professionally or at a strip club.
This is someone you know. Oh, that's so much worse.
Yeah.
This
is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
You remember in my Discord, you probably saw it because you're a mod. There was someone who took a photo of me at a wedding and she's doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, her.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
she was like, I'm learning pole dancing for exercise purposes.
Pretty much. I mean, she posts all on her Instagram and stuff like that too. Like, it's not private, right? But she's like, I'm just inviting a bunch of people. If you want to come, it'll be tonight. I'm like, sure. And so I get there, and it's like a school, and there's several performances, right? And they're all like,
oh, yeah. It's a recital, yeah.
Yeah, and so there are lots of people, and we're all standing around, and they've laid down like red tape around like where you can stand, and I'm like, oh, I have to stand here for like an hour before intermission. So I'm on my bad legs because this was 2 weeks ago. It was way worse.
You didn't get like a chair?
There were some chairs, but you couldn't use all of them because some people were pulling them on for their performances.
Ah,
Yeah.
that seems like an oversight. I feel like there should be enough chairs for the performances and for the audience, but hey,
yeah.
I'm not familiar with this world, so
I mean, it was too small of a room, like to give
like
everyone chairs.
there wasn't an oh really?
Yeah,
Dang,
they
okay.
were cramming people in. The
So you're
first
like smelling the sweat coming off of these people then.
the people standing next to me, not the people performing.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough, I guess.
which
Whatever.
is different. But yeah, so the first I was like, oh, okay, this is a little uncomfortable. There are people basically walking around in almost nothing.
Yeah.
And then the first set comes on, and the MC describes it as a come here and fuck me and let me fuck you. I'm like, oh, okay. This is like
What?
explicitly like we want it to be as sultry as possible, and they're all in like the schoolgirl Japanese sailor outfits or whatever.
Classic move. Yeah.
Classic. Yep. And I'm like, I don't know where to look. If I look to the ceiling, everyone could see me doing that and know that I'm uncomfortable. I don't want people to think I'm uncomfortable. It was it was awful. I'm not gonna lie, except for my friend. She was doing another group. She was actually in the second set, and they did a routine to My Chemical Romance's Teenagers, which is a fun song, and so
yeah,
making that work was interesting, and my friend did great, and then I, shut up and powered through the rest of the performances for the next hour till intermission, said hellos and congratulations, and complimented her on her work, and got the hell out of there because I had to go back to work. I had to go back to work in 4 or 5 hours. That was my excuse.
yeah,
And I was grateful for it.
yeah.
It was.
So you're saying your friend owes you?
She might. I doubt she will. She would consider it on that. She was like, "No, I invited you out to a thing. You came. That's it."
Yeah.
Yeah. She did give me the wrong address for the building. It is pouring down rain every week here in Sydney. So the Uber driver dropped me off on the wrong street to behind the address of the building because apparently it's got entrances on both sides, but it was at the wrong address. So I had to walk for 5 minutes in the pouring rain just to get there.
Oh, yeah, super cool.
Super cool.
So she totally owes you then.
She should.
Something.
I think she should owe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a life experience. You remember that one for a while.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, yeah, I guess I'm glad it wasn't as awkward as it possibly could have been. That's nice.
I mean, I'm thinking of ways it could have been worse. I mean, they could have pulled me out onto the stage. That would have sucked.
Oh, yeah, that would have been worse. They didn't do that to anyone, did they?
There was one dude who was sitting down because there were so many people behind the red tape in a square around the stage, right?
Yeah.
So the room's a big rectangle, and people were basically standing around the edges, except on one side. And I think he was there with someone who was performing, and she climbed all over him during her performance as well.
Oh, yeah, that could be worse. Good call.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, I hope that they knew each other, and it wasn't just yep, you, that to me seems worse, because that dude got to 5th base with her, just. Yeah, no, I mean, good for them. They all had fun. There was one dude doing it. He was actually really fun. He was super sassy, but he was having a good time. Good for him.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was my adventures while you were in Vegas. I was having the full Vegas experience while you were eating at Denny's or some shit.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, me and my brother, we went out to a steakhouse that was set up to be a 20s decor style.
Okay.
That was kind of interesting. The steak was good, so no complaints.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I went to a steak place in New Zealand, and it was at this old customs house building, right? So
Yeah.
they turned this great like colonial architecture building into a steakhouse, and they had a brandy and peppercorn sauce because in Australia steaks are all like sauce served and stuff. I've heard like some differences with the Americans where you're like you put salt and pepper on your steaks and that's it. Like here it's all about like what kind of sauce you want to put with it. And so
Mm.
I mean we still have like really good juicy steaks and you can get them plain. But it's like who doesn't want, something amazing served alongside it to dip it into occasionally.
Yeah, I think the philosophy there is if you need your steak to be augmented by something else, how good is it really? I think is how they see it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but
But it's good.
it's so good. Like, you can definitely eat it by itself and be like, yeah, this is clearly a really nice cut of meat, cooked to perfection. Exactly, unless you like ask for it well done, in which case you've burnt it. But,
Yes.
um, you know, a little something on the side isn't so bad. It's like, well, if
Okay.
if steak by itself is so perfect, why do you put it on a plate? Checkmate, atheist. They should
Oh.
just throw it at you.
Yes, we should.
Why do you have I don't know, a drink with it? Why do you not have it dry as well? Like you can't have a soda with your steak, sir. You can't have a brandy with your steak. You can't
I've
pair it like that. That's blasphemy.
I've had steaks where I did not want anything else. It was just the steak, man. That's all I'm saying. Not every time, but
Not a
sometimes it's like, okay, this is just amazing
look.
all the way down.
You got to come over here and try the pairings that we do here with like mushroom sauce or
Oh yeah, yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
No, there are steakhouses here that will offer like a mushroom sauce.
Right, right,
It's
right.
usually just that though with mushrooms,
Okay. Well, I
But
mean,
like the nicest places, I don't think
mm,
I've had that offered. I don't
right.
know. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing. If the philosophy in the States is that you don't pair it with the sauce or of any kind, then the people that are probably aren't doing it very well. Here, if everyone's like in it for the sauce, then the best places sauces must be the best sauces as well, not just the best
Yeah,
steaks.
that's fair.
Yeah,
I get that.
yeah,
Okay. Well, good. That is really funny that you were doing Vegas stuff when I was in Vegas not doing Vegas stuff.
yeah. uh,
That's great. Okay. So let's see. StarCrafty things that are happening. Artosis is moving back to Canada. Not back to Canada.
yeah, he's moving to Canada.
To Canada,
Yeah,
along with the little one. He's just following in his footsteps.
the little one.
Yeah, TLO moved to Canada a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, 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 the little one. No one ever
Yeah.
calls him the little one anymore. Like
All right.
yeah, it's
TLO?
yeah TLO. I know TLO. Everyone in the world knows TLO.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 5% of those people would recognize if you just said, "Well, the little one" on Twitter the other day, because at first I
Oh,
thought you
that's
meant his kid. I'm like, Artosis has 2 kids. Why the little one? Wouldn't it be the little two?
Oh, in context. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, TLO. TLO's in Canada too.
Yes,
So they can hang out.
Yeah.
Because Canada is just basically one place. I think TLO's in Toronto specifically.
Okay.
I don't know where Artosis is going, but
Mm.
yeah. So like I guess Tasteless is staying and have they announced an official new
Second cousin.
co-caster for him?
Well,
Like who wants to be the guy that follows Artosis and like tries to replace the Tastosis combo, right?
if only your
No one
voice
wants to
wasn't
do that.
shattered.
Oh yeah, they called and they're like, "Hey, Falcon, can you cast with us?" And then I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "Oh no, your voice is broken. Bye." And that was it. Lost my chance.
That was it. You had one shot. You let it slip
Yeah,
through your fingers.
I did.
Yeah. I did hear some people in chat be like, "What about like getting like if Tasteless decides to walk, who are the next nearest best casters they could fly in for tournaments?" And it's Pig and Maynard,
Yeah, yeah,
which
no, definitely, yeah,
is a good combo, but I don't
yeah,
like Maynard doesn't do a whole lot of casting anymore.
yeah.
So I don't think they could do it, and flying them out probably isn't super profitable for something like GSL. It's like, hey, can we fly you out here 2-3 times a week to cast? Probably
Right.
not going to happen. So we do have GSL Super Tournament coming up,
Cool.
and they do list Tasteless as a caster, as the English caster.
Yeah, as far as I know, Tasteless is sticking around. So
he did say on
that's
his stream he didn't want to do it if Artosis wasn't here anymore. So maybe he's just like, I'm contractually obliged to do the next couple of tournaments.
And then he's gonna bail.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But they don't list anyone else, so that's what I'm getting at.
Fair.
Yeah.
New era. Cool.
Freaka Champions Cup. What is this? Freaka TV Champions Cup. It's got a $15,000 prize pool. And so I assume it's also it's organized by Afrika, which is same as GSL, but it doesn't have Tasteless listed as a commentator.
Interesting.
Plot thickens.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also no players signed up for it yet, so it's yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to see what that is.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we have a bunch of TV to talk about.
Well, do we want to talk about Maru winning his G5L? First player in history to win GSL 5 times?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Maru's amazing.
Yes, he ruffle stomped Ragnarok. That's about it.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah. Honestly, I was watching those games and I was like, man, if Ragnarok was playing literally any other Terran right now, this would be a 6 series. Instead, he was playing Maru, who was awake and on time and there,
Yeah.
Oh.
Good Maru, not bad Maru.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Did any of the games get to like 20 minutes?
I think there was one, but even then it wasn't like super amazing. But, yeah. Rip.
Well, good job, Maru. Way to keep Terran hopes alive everywhere. It's your job right now. Sorry, you're the only one who's doing it.
And it is.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough of that. To
Cool. TV. So, Chainsaw Man. You want to start with that?
Sure. Did you watch the new episode today?
Yes.
Interesting.
I watched both episodes. Did you?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what did you think? Let's start with you.
It's good. I like it. It's I don't know. I like the tone. It's like the world sucks.
There are demons everywhere.
Yeah.
They're really just popping up.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know if we should start with this, but isn't it weird that it's like they call them the demon? Like the tomato demon, like the dude in the phone booth at the end of episode 2 calls it the
sea cucumber demon.
The sea cucumber demon. It's not a sea cucumber demon. It's the sea cucumber demon. So, like, if there's one of them,
I assume
what?
I assume that is a linguistical translation.
Okay,
where it's
so
like
it's one of the many sea cucumber demons this guy's ever seen.
Yeah, so someone would be like, "What kind of demon is it?" Well, it's like the sea cucumber demon, right? Like it's the sea cucumber type of demon, right?
Because that would make more sense in context of how they're using the names,
right? Because in the first episode, Denji kills like the tomato demon or whatever,
and he calls it the tomato demon.
Yeah, and he's like, burn the seeds because he'll respawn with that. So maybe it's.
Oh yeah, and how would he know that if that's the first time he's ever killed a tomato demon?
I don't think it's the first time he's ever killed a tomato demon.
Agreed.
But the way he says it'll respawn, again implies singularity to the tomato demon.
It kind of does, yeah.
So great, I'm shifting my stance on this.
Translation problems. It can't be because it doesn't make any sense. The dude in the phone booth would not be like, maybe they come back. Like maybe they all res. You kill the tomato demon, and then 3 weeks later, the tomato demon is back. And maybe that's why demon hunters have such good job security because there's always demons because they never actually die.
Right. Yeah. No, I believe it. That checks out.
So when what's her face Uh, I want to call her Mikasa, but that's not her name. It's close though.
Mamika.
Makima.
Makima.
When Makima shows up, does she say, "I'm here to kill the zombie demon"? I think she says that too. So it's consistently. I don't know. I'm sure somebody that's read the manga knows how this works, and maybe we're just making a big deal out of nothing here.
It's probably a big deal out of nothing. It's probably super nitpicky. Yeah.
I don't know. The zombie demon. Whatever. So anyway, Denji is just such an automatically like likable, relatable character. Because it's like this poor kid, his dad kills himself.
And he
And the
inherits his
Yakuza's like, well,
you owe us now. You have till tomorrow.
Yeah. And so he's never had jam on his bread. He's never had ramen before. And you're just like, this poor super horny 14-year-old.
He's 17.
Is he 17?
Yeah.
Man, no wonder he's extra horny. He's been horny for a long time. Yeah.
His entire goal that he discovers for himself in the second episode, people, is that he wants to touch boobs. That's
just hilarious.
That's it.
Because he's like, my life is perfect. I have ramen. I get to hang around girls. I get to take a bath every day. It's like, oh, wait. I almost forgot about this dream. I gave up on it a long time ago. Touching boobs.
Yeah.
So good. And then he repeats it. Like the next scene, he's in the room with Makima and he's like touching boobs. And she's like, what? Boobs?
What? So not only does he believe it, he goes on to tell others that is his lifelong dream at the moment.
Yeah. He has no social skills at all. He just doesn't.
Absolutely zero. No.
Just kind of endearing too. I just love that. It's like whenever I fight anyone, just kick him in the balls the whole time. It's what I do. It's really effective. And the dude's like, come on, man. All squaring up. And Denji's like, bam! Kick. Right in the nuts.
I mean, okay, here's the thing I don't get. That dude, his entire unit is filled with just like bizarre experimental people by the looks of it.
It is now? Was that a recent thing? I don't know, but yes, it is.
That's what he says. Like when he was like,
why is he there? Is what you're saying?
No. That's a good question. But he's like, I've been given an experimental unit. I've already got a fiend in it, and who knows who many else. Like we meet Power later. And she's in it, but he doesn't like immediately ask like, what's this guy's deal? You know, he's like, why is Denji being put in my group?
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go out and beat up this guy.
Right.
If Denji had just turned into Chainsaw Man right there, he would have like sliced this dude up. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Like, don't pick fights with people you don't know, especially ones that might be bonded with a demon.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know, but he just saw this like country rube who doesn't know anything.
It's true.
But like he should have had the thought of like, okay, this guy has survived as a country rube on his own for a long time. Like he's dangerous somehow. He should have. I'm with you. He should have been like, okay, this guy's got something going on.
Right, but the way he like talks down to him is like,
yeah,
he's kind of like doing it from a position that doesn't know that this kid's been like hunting demons for the last 10 years by himself.
Right.
And it's like lots of people get into demon hunting for the paychecks and they all die and it's horrible and you should get out while you still can. And it's like,
yeah,
I've been doing
Denji's like, I've been doing this
for a decade. It's like, come on.
For the paychecks, for the exact motivation you said was bad.
Yeah. And that's also true.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, it was for survival, too, for Denji. It wasn't about the money. It was about, like, maybe having enough food to eat, sort of. Yeah, he's such a rube, too. Like, when he kills the tomato demon and the Yakuza's guy's like, I'm gonna pay you 400,000 for this, and he's like, awesome. It's like, and then the guy screws him out of it, and he ends up with like 1,800.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not the first time this has happened to you, Denji. Come on, you can't be this excited when he says 400,000. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, he gets excited at everything. The guy's like, "I'll
He
pay you
does.
100 yen to eat this cigarette," and he's like, "Really?
Yeah.
Seriously? Cool." Like,
It's like it's like excitement. It's not even like cool, man. It's like really awesome. Let's go.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's got to be rough living in a position where it's like, if I earn an extra $1, that's, you know, an extra slice of bread I can eat every day, right? Like,
That's what he says. He's like, that's 2 more days of food, Pochito. Let's go. Yeah.
Pochita.
Yeah. Pochita. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pochita, hero of the series so far, 100%.
Yep. There to give Denji back his left nut.
Yeah, and his eye and his kidney, I guess.
I assume so. Yeah. Honestly,
If he's got his eye back, everything else is probably back.
I think his character design looks way better if he's missing an eye.
Yeah, like, I think so too.
Definitely, because it's like I sold this, and it's like a reminder of the things he's willing to do. He's just too whole at the moment. Like he needs some scars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That probably wasn't voluntary that he sold his eye and stuff, right?
I mean, it might have been.
Well, because he's got a 32 million yen debt.
Yeah.
And he's like, I sold my kidney for like 100,000.
No. It was like decent.
Was it half?
It was like $500,000 for like the kidney, and it was like 600,000 for the eye. And then he goes, I even sold one of my nuts. It barely got me 100,000. Like he was bummed at how little it was.
So like, if you owe $32 million, like you're really gonna like give up one of your nuts for? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't make a dent in your debt.
But if, you know, I assume that a lot of these like organ donations was set up through the Yakuza as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was entirely voluntary.
I think it was. I think they offered it to him, and he says yes. Like he does. Like he goes, well, 100,000. It doesn't put a dent in my debt. But they only paid me 300,000 for killing the tomato demon. I'm 50,000 short this week, and I don't have anything to eat. And he's like, okay, sure. It's like he just looks at it the same way he does about eating the cigarettes. Like, you'll give me 100,000 just for one of my nuts. I've got a spare. Take it. I imagine he's super stoked to give up anything he's got 2 of. You know, he's got a spare. I'm surprised he hadn't given up a lung at this point, or a foot.
Well, so that's part of it. Yeah, if we're just going to go down this path, let's go down this path. But part of it too is you're using this kid to hunt demons. Having him have one eye hurts that. Like, do you need him to be killing demons for you or not? Like, why are we crippling this dude? 2 eyes is way better if you're hunting something.
So I think he doesn't actually have a debt. I think the Yakuza's made that bit up, and they're just like fucking with him for fun. Like they're making bank off him.
That's what I'm saying. They're making bank off him. So why risk that bank you're making off him by taking one of his eyes?
It is not incredible amounts of money. It is worth more to them for them to like mess with him. And like they took his eye, and he's still kicking butt. Right? He's still very capable because he has a chainsaw demon to help him.
Yes, he is, but I wouldn't have taken that risk if I was them. I mean, like, let's let him keep his eyes.
Well, maybe.
What if he loses one and his depth perception is gone, and then he dies next week? Like, that's not fun, right?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, the Yakuza are all about taking risks, I guess. Like,
yeah, I mean, you do get the feeling if he dies, they don't care,
right? Like,
yeah.
If he dies, they lose out $300 a week. It's not a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
3,000, I think it is. Yeah, $3,000 a week, which is a little more, but that's, I don't know. For the Yakuza, I'd expect them to have multiple streams of dodgy income, you know? So there's that.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they do. Well, and the Yakuza guy mentions they're going to sell the tomato demon on the black market, which I thought was interesting because there's, off the books demon hunters that are selling the corpses to black market and getting cash for it. What happens to the corpses killed by legitimate demon hunters within the government organization? Like, that's what I'm curious about
It's
now.
interesting. Yeah. I hope they talk about that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Although, is there anything to sell once Power smashes one into absolute liquid with her blood hammer?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I don't know. Maybe they could sell the goop as fertilizer. Who knows?
Probably a couple moderately intact organs in there. Yeah.
They make a great steak sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, and just poor Denji. He's like, all I want to do is get laid. It's like, yeah, you're 17, man. You've barely seen a girl, I bet. Like, good call.
I like how he kills the fiend in such a way to specifically not splash blood on the porno mags. Like that's he's like
The best.
Hey, why didn't you use your devil powers? I didn't want him to suffer, and it makes a big mess. God, Denji. So, when you watched the first episode, did you get the? Obviously, the Yakuza are referring to Denji as a dog, but did you get the monkey also was? Did you get?
Oh
that
yeah.
Yeah.
She says that, and that's the first thing that makes him go, "Oh, maybe she's not nice." She goes, "I prefer a dog who says woof," and yes.
And then no, but she says that in the second episode. I asked specifically about by the first one ends, all right, and she's just like hugging him and being like, "I'll look after you. I'll give you food."
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
You had a little bit of an intent because if you know Japanese, it's a little more clear there because the words she used directly imply pet ownership and dog like subhuman food, like. But the translation doesn't quite pick up on it, and it's just really interesting.
No, I mean, I definitely got that she was going to make him a subordinate of some kind for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Just a little fun fact for you there, matey.
That is pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like, poor Denji, he's like, this really pretty girl is nice to me. I'm in love with her immediately. It's like, yeah. This makes sense. Poor thing.
Can you eat your noodle by yourself? I cannot.
He's like passing out from blood loss, and he's just like, gotta have my game. Gotta have my game working here. And she's chill with it. Like, she's such a weird character. She's like, she clearly considers him subhuman.
And like
but like, instead of being like, fuck off, eat your own noodles, she's like, sure, I'll feed you your food. Like, what? Who is this?
She's a pet. Sometimes you gotta feed your pets, right? Like yourself. she legitimately is down for like the dog role play, I think. Like, she wants him to say woof.
Yeah. This is a dark path we're going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. So yeah, it's good. He's really an endearing, stupid character. He's relatable. I think the other characters are interesting. I love that Makama's like, okay, so this is Power. She's a fiend, but she's highly rational. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then she's just like, blood, kill, blood, kill. And I'm like, so what part of her is highly rational? Exactly. What are we doing? What are we talking about here?
I'm gonna assume the highly rational part is that she, as a fiend, doesn't immediately go out and kill other people to eat. She is cooperative and is willing to like go and kill other fiends and demons. That's the rational part. Like, she has some self-preservation instincts going on.
That's gotta be it, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very funny. It's like, she is super rational. I'm gonna jump off a building.
Gonna conjure a giant Looney Tunes hammer out of my own blood, question mark.
Yep.
And smash this thing to bits. Yeah.
Yep.
I like how she's all, we're not going to run into any demons because they're afraid of me and they can smell me from a mile away. And he's like, come on.
He believes that immediately. Oh, that's great. I really enjoy the interactions between those two already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a doofus, but she's probably a bigger doofus. So that's a fun combination.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can deal with crazy as long as it's hot enough. Yeah, poor Denji.
I am on board for this show. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always heard great things about the manga, so it seems like I don't know. We should ask the manga readers if they're happy with the anime.
Mm.
In keeping with our theme of or the original IP lovers, do they like the adaptation or not? Because that's what everything is these days.
Mm.
Hmm. I
Mm.
find someone to ask out of curiosity. Anyway, yeah, Chainsaw Man recommended. It's on Hulu in the US, which is nice if you already have Hulu.
Mm-hmm. I don't have Hulu, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Yeah.
Mob Psycho's back. Just real quick, it's great.
It's great.
Poor Mob has to figure out what he wants to do with his life, and he has no idea because he's Mob. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
He's an Esper with like unlimited amounts of power, but like when he's just him, he has no idea what he's doing with his life, and it's hilarious.
Why doesn't he just become a ghost hunter like his boss wants him to be?
Like Reagan?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Reagan kind of suggests that, and Mob was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And Reagan's like, that's cool. I'm like, Reagan, you're the best boss ever. You're such a good dude. I don't know. That might be what ends up happening. Like maybe Mob's gonna try some other stuff, and then he'll be like, "No, you know what I like doing is hunting ghosts and stuff." So saving the world. There's some fun continuity too, because at the end of season 2, he defeats a big bad, and it leaves a giant broccoli in the middle of town.
Okay.
Like huge broccoli, like just bonk. And people have started worshiping it because that's what people would do.
Right. It's a big old broccoli. Yeah.
Yep. And like people are gathering there more and more every day. And it's like, well, this is going to be a problem at some point. Anyway, it's good. Mob Psycho is great. I like it a lot.
Fair enough. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
So House of the Dragon. I've heard some people with reservations about the finale.
Was that the finale?
Season finale.
It was episode 8.
Yeah, I think that's it.
No, like judging on what happened on the episode I watched this morning, that can't be it. I don't think so. I would be shocked.
No, you're right. I'm an idiot. It goes to 10.
Okay, yeah. So there was definitely some like people being like, "Well, this is giving me season 8 flashbacks," you know.
Oh no, that's not good.
So basically, the king dies, and the succession war is about to kick off in earnest. And the Greens are moving in secret to not announce that the king's dead for like a day while they can gather everyone, find fucking Aegon Targaryen, and who has no desire to be king. He just wants to like whore and do whatever that he does in like Flea Bottom. Like that's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to be king. Okay, so the something I didn't talk about that happened 2 episodes ago was the prophecy about the Song of Ice and Fire. The king on his deathbed thinks he's talking to his daughter Rhaenyra, who's the only one he's told about the Song of Ice and Fire as this like big Targaryen house secret, only chosen like given down to the next king. In fact, he's talking to Alicent Hightower, his wife, and she misinterprets what he's saying because he's like, "You asked me if I truly believe it, and I do. Aegon's dream, it has to be you to make it happen." Like that's the kind of thing he's saying. Like he's about to die here, basically, and he's like on Milk of the Poppy and all this stuff. She basically thinks that means the king on his deathbed has confessed that he wants his rapist son to be the next king instead of his daughter he loved very dearly. Right?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and so most of it is a misunderstanding. At best, is how you can look at it. It's like Alicent Hightower takes this information to the small council, and the small council openly admits they've been planning to do this for years. Right?
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And they like begin murdering the members of the small council that disagree, and she has like Alicent Hightower, to her credit, has like a nervous breakdown about this. And she has reservations because her best friend growing up was Rhaenyra, because they're the same age, right? they lock Princess Rhaenys, who is like 60 years ago or something, there was like a big council to decide who would be the next king or queen. And this king that just died was the one that got chosen, even though she had the better claim. Like the realm of the people who voted, like all the great lords, just didn't want a woman as a queen. They were like, we prefer to go with the guy. And she just kind of like sucked it up, but she's always been kind of bitter about it.
Yeah.
And
The patriarchy. Right.
yeah, right. Anyway, they lock her in her room because if they let her leave, she'll go and warn Rhaenyra. And she also has a dragon, and so fighting dragons would be bad. They want to avoid that. But she, like, Alison Hightower, when she goes to talk to her, is very much of the opinion that, like, we need to offer Rhaenyra agreeable terms to just let this happen. Like, give them court positions, all this stuff. We trying to avoid bloodshed, to her credit. That is what she's trying to do. And I'm explaining it to you like this because I want to avoid, I'm trying to explain the quibble that happens at the end of the episode. That is what I can tell is most people's like, the fuck. Because they go to the Dragon Pits, which is this grand old building at this point. It's not like the shithole that we see in Game of Thrones, right? Because they've actually renovated, keeping it up to date, and they've got dragons in it. That's where they coronate the king, right? And so they literally heard all of the commoners in King's Landing. They're just like, hey, push, and they don't know where they're going. They don't know why they're being led to the Dragon Pits. They could be there to get in. They don't know. And there's like, oh, the king's being coronated, the new king.
Okay, that's nice. It's better than being eaten.
Yeah. For plot reasons, someone had tried to bust out Rhaenys and tried to help her escape the city, but she gets caught up in the crowd being like pushed to the Dragon Pits, and she sneaks off and finds her dragon. And just as like King Aegon's like celebrating being coronated, like he's like, oh, people will love me if I'm the king. I can fuck many whores if I do this. Rhaenys uses her dragon to burst up through the floor, killing thousands or hundreds at least of the common folk.
Just randos, nice.
And then literally everyone who is plotting to usurp the throne and is literally in the process of doing it is in front of her. She's on her dragon. And she doesn't just tell them, Dracarys. She just flies and walks away. And
sure.
Here's the thing. Her intentions are all that she knows from Alison Hightower, which is she wants to do this as smoothly as possible. Because Alison fully believes that her husband, the late king, on his deathbed changed his mind about the succession. That's what she believes. And so she wants to do this peacefully and bloodlessly if she can. And so there is kind of she's not going to just burn these people down because they, the claim that they have is the same that was used against Rhaenys, which is this person isn't directly in line for the throne, but it is the eldest firstborn male. And so she understands that if she burns all these people, the lords of the realm might have some issues with that because it's like they've already voted once in her lifetime to put the male son rather than the female daughter on the throne, you know?
Right.
So, to me, it makes sense, but I get why some people are like, dude, if she just said one word there, the entire story would be over. And it's like, yeah, if she said one word there, the entire story would be over. How unsatisfying would that be?
2 more episodes.
2 more episodes this season.
Right.
I think they're doing multiple seasons for this thing. So it is a little oof. And a lot of people are talking about how the person who wrote this episode also wrote the other worst episode, which I don't pay attention to who writes the episodes, so I don't know which one they're talking about. But yeah, there's lots of people being like, oh, great, we're back to fucking kneelers, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, 2 more episodes to go. We'll see where they go from there.
I will say I did not expect to see there's a character called Laris. I call him Cripplefinger because he's like a cripple, but he's like Littlefinger plotting and scheming behind the scenes. Turns out he's been doing all that not out of some sort of loyalty to the queen. but just because he gets to rub one out while she takes off her socks, right? Like,
He's just a feet person.
there's a foot fetish dude in the show, and yeah,
man, that's such a low stakes too. It's like, man, you're getting paid in like feet. Up your standards, man. All right, like Denji wants to get paid in boobs at least.
At least, yeah, and these are like Middle Ages feet too. Like even if they're the queen, they can't be great.
Probably not. But I mean, it's all you've ever seen. Like, hey, whatever.
True. It's true. Also, this guy's got like crippled feet, so that's probably the connection where he's like, those are what they're supposed to look like. And then he's like, yeah, could you take the socks off, please? And then he's just like, rub one out. So, yep, that's the show.
Okay. Super great. Super great. You know what's really funny is Rings of Power has a scene where a dying king thinks that the woman in the room is his daughter and also does the same thing.
Really?
Talks about a prophecy. Yeah.
Okay.
Super weird. Yeah. I wonder. That is a very weird coincidence.
They're both written by the same writer.
Yeah, maybe.
I doubt it.
Like the king of Numenor dies, and as he's dying, when some like art student lady is in there to like do a portrait of the king, right?
Right.
And yeah, he thinks it's his daughter. So he's talking about like the stuff he's seen in the Palantir and the future of Middle Earth and everything. And she's like, what's going on? Yeah.
I'm just here to paint, sir.
Right. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rings of Power finished. My big takeaway is it seems like their main goal for the season was to create a mystery box of who is Sauron. We're gonna have some options here. One of these people is Sauron, and he's a shapeshifter. So there aren't really any physical hints of who it is, right?
All right.
And then in the final episode, they're like, it was this guy the whole time. And I'm like, cool, but like now it's over. Like Sauron didn't do anything. So fun, I guess.
Hold on. Did they give the name of this character that he has been this entire time? Because I know what it is in like the Silmarillion. Well, I don't know how to pronounce the Elvish name that he gives that Sauron's been hiding under. But
I know. No, he's hiding as a human dude in this.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Halbrand.
Okay.
So remember I told you when she ends up stranded in the ocean and she gets on this raft with these other survivors of a shipwreck?
Yeah.
That's him. He's this dude. So like, did he plan this?
Why?
I don't understand any of his plans at all. This whole season, not at all.
So hold on, Sauron, the Dark Lord,
yes,
is on a boat but can't defeat.
Raft.
He can't. Like he's gonna get eaten by a shark. Like,
yeah. I don't know.
Why? How?
Because they wanted to be a mystery box season. They wanted to put Sauron in the body of someone who was entirely, well, not entirely, but kind of super inconspicuous by being like, why would Sauron be on a raft somewhere? Yeah. So in the final episode, like, blah, 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 he ends up back in Rivendell or whatever. And he meets Celebrimbor, and he's like, yo, here are some ideas of how to make some rings. And Celebrimbor's like, nice. And at that point, you're like, okay, this dude's super interested in this whole ring making thing. All right, it's probably him.
Right. If he's giving the like the plans on how to make the rings, that is to the Silmarillion what happens. Right?
Yeah.
Like at that point I'd be like, oh, it's that guy. That guy's Sauron. They changed his name and I guess made him human because I thought he came posing as an elf. But I would have been like, it's him.
Yeah, they changed stuff for sure. Well, and so then the way that Galadriel figures this out, she's all suspicious of him because he's like really into this whole ring making thing. And she's like, why are you so into this? This is weird, man. So she finds he's supposed to be the long lost heir to the throne of the Southern Kingdoms.
Okay.
So she's like, goes to the library of like records and she's like, hey, can I look at the line, for the heir of the Southern Kingdoms? And the dude's like, it died out like 1,000 years ago. We don't know who it is. She's like, oh, he must be Sauron. It's like, but like,
What?
okay, I mean, whatever. So then she like confronts him about it, and it's pretty. This is like my favorite part of the entire season is he's like, look, I didn't lie to you about anything. I told you that I'd done some evil stuff in the Southlands, and I didn't want to go back there. And you were like, no, you should go back. It's cool. It's just in the past. I can forgive you, right? And he's like, I didn't even want to go back. And that's true. She's like, you need to go back and lead your people in the Southlands. We need to raise an army against Sauron. And he's like, I don't want to. And she's like, you have to do it. She like basically browbeats him into it. And so he does. And so all this stuff that he does, she's responsible for it.
So hold on, they made her convince Sauron.
Yeah.
They made Galadriel convince Sauron to go and raise an army. And basically go back and like reconquer Middle Earth.
Well, just Sauron's coming, right?
Right.
Because the orcs are back and stuff.
So what were the orcs doing coming back if Sauron was like, you know what? I'm living as a cool human dude.
So the orcs are being led by this elf guy who is doing his own thing.
Okay.
Like as far as the story is telling us, he's doing this in opposition to Sauron. They're not buds. He's trying to raise his own orc army and conquer the Southlands on his own. And he's responsible for erupting Mount Doom. But like Sauron didn't directly have anything to do with it. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
It's like maybe the dude thought he was fighting Sauron, but Sauron like he is cool with everything that the dude did. Like he wanted this elf to do all this stuff.
Right.
The elf thought he was fighting Sauron the whole time, I don't know. They don't explain a whole. Like I said, the whole point was they just wanted us to be guessing who Sauron was for the entire season. And like, congratulations, you did it. But I don't know that it makes a lot of sense in retrospect. So anyway, so what I really like is he like really kind of puts on this affecting performance of like, look, I'm sorry for all the bad shit I did. We talked about this. I wasn't lying to you then. I really want a new fresh start. We can rule Middle Earth together. We can, what does he say? We can protect Middle Earth with our powers. And she goes, protect or rule? And then he goes, I don't really see a difference. And she's like, that's why we can't be friends. It's it's amazing. It's so good.
I think I'm done watching.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it. That's the end of the season.
Okay.
Anyway, that's the power. There are some feelings about it. Anywho, yeah. What else? Andor continues to be great. It's just it's what happens if you just give good writing and really good character work into the Star Wars frame set. That's it. You've never seen before. The end.
I intend to watch it. I'm gonna watch Andor when it's all done. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Season 1 anyway.
Yep. Season 1.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah.
Yeah, but continue to recommend for sure.
Cool. Or anything else? Any other shows?
She-Hulk finished. It was so okay. So just one thing about this. So it goes to this end scene, and like this dude drinks some potion they made with She-Hulk's blood they got earlier in the season, and he turns into a Hulk.
Right.
And like it's gonna be this throwdown, and then she's like, "Wait, this is stupid. Like, why do like it's this like time freeze thing?" And she's like, "Why do MCU movies and shows always end with the hero fighting another version of themselves?" And this is a fair point. You bring up an excellent argument.
Yeah.
So it goes to the Disney Plus browsing screen,
Yeah.
and she like Deadpool leaves her show and climbs down into this like behind the scenes at Marvel Studios something special they did a while ago. So she ends up at the Marvel studio a lot and she goes to talk to Kevin Feige about all this stuff, right? And Kevin's a robot. He's like an algorithm that is responsible for all the decisions about the MCU. And she convinces him to just do a different ending where all of her enemies go to jail and she gets to bang Matt Murdock again
That's fine.
and Hulk comes back. The
That's
end.
that's the canon ending.
Yeah.
Like that's not like, hey, we had some funny bloopers, or like
Nope, that's what happens.
here's the post credit like Captain America fucked ending, right? It's that's
It's
that's that's what happens.
yeah, they're like, all these storylines we had, they're resolved. Deus Ex Machina. The
That's
end.
shit.
It's really bad. And like I understand that, yeah, sure. It's a trope
Mm-hmm.
to like have an MCU thing end with She-Hulk fighting another Hulk. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. But I don't know that what you need to do instead is
Break the fourth
this.
wall. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, because like there are characters that can do that. Like Deadpool can obviously get away with breaking the fourth wall. And
Yeah.
I only watched the first episode, but she does have some like moments of like exposition where she talks directly to the camera,
Yes.
and
She's breaking the fourth wall. She is.
and I thought that, okay, that was fun. It's like a little insight to what she's thinking. I did not think that
Uh-huh.
was like canonical, that she was literally like, there's a film camera here, like, and I'm
Yeah.
recording my life as a TV show, like.
Yeah. No, it is. Throughout other episodes in this season, she's like, don't forget, like, yeah, I know there's a lot of guest stars on this show, but it's She-Hulk. Like she has meta knowledge that she's in an MCU TV show.
I don't like
Which
that.
which is a She-Hulk thing.
Is it?
It's in the comics. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there's
She-Hulk
some
does a lot of
presence.
talking to the audience and a lot of talking about the comics industry and like why like why she's on the cover of this episode wearing like a bikini. She's like, I know why this is happening. Like you guys like this stuff, right? So
Okay.
like it is. It's how She-Hulk is.
Hmm.
But like, sure, the fourth wall breaky things, but if your story ends in a literal I talked to God and all my problems are fixed, the end, it's like not really on board. I don't know. It was not
Yeah.
satisfying at all.
Yeah. I'm a little like, I've never read any of the She-Hulk comics. Literally,
Yeah.
all I knew about her was that she was a Hulk and a lawyer. Like,
Yeah.
it's a whole lot to go on. But I don't like the whole fourth wall. Like, you get one character like that, maybe two. And I thought as a filming technique to be like, okay, she's going to directly address people. That was fun. I liked that in the first episode.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's like an Ally McBeal level.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's a 90s reference.
I grew up in the
But
90s.
yeah, Ally McBeal. It was also another attorney comedy.
Oh.
And she would talk to the camera sometimes, but it wasn't meta knowledge that she was in a TV show. It was just she would address the
Mhm.
audience as her character.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
So yeah, so that's what you thought
Yeah.
She-Hulk was doing. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just yeah.
Mm.
And the attorney stuff too. Like people were hoping and expecting this to be like, okay, this is cool.
Mhm.
So right, we're taking cases. So there's some superpowered person out there with X-ray vision who gets accused of peeping Tom and like spying on women as they're changing, and like Jen has to defend him. Like, how does that work? Like, how
Yeah.
do you prove this? There's none of that. There is
Oh.
so very little of that because the writers themselves said we don't know anything about the law.
Law.
Like, we can't write real law stuff. So she's a lawyer, but she's not gonna do a ton of that.
That's unfortunate, because I think if they leaned way
It
into
is.
that, I would have been super down for it, to be like,
Yeah.
how does a superhero person, like, how do superhero court cases go? Like,
Right.
does this go to trial even? Like, what
Yeah.
happens if the judge is a superhero and is like, I'm gonna throw this out? all right, you know.
Yeah, and again, there's not none of it. There's definitely some of it, and it's fun when they do it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
most of the show is Jen's dating life or problems with her family or
All things that it's totally fine to make a show about.
yeah, if you're calling
Especially,
it She-Hulk Attorney at Law, let's have some more law. That's all I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. Because like the balance between superhero and powers and the family home life and all that shit, that's classic as well. That's very
Yeah.
classic superhero stuff. So I'm not like I wouldn't complain about a show that is just She-Hulk trying to find a dude. And I mean Matt
Yeah.
Murdock, whew, that dude's dreamy. Like no
No,
wonder she's into it. Yeah.
I do not blame her at all.
Do they
None.
bang while she's She-Hulk? Or while she
No, and
no.
that's a big plot point of the season,
Okay.
is that Tatiana Maslany, who is the actress who plays She-Hulk, when
Mhm.
she puts herself out on Tinder, she gets no matches because the show writers are morons and they think that's realistic. Tatiana Maslany is a gorgeous, extremely hot woman.
Yeah.
And if she was on Tinder, she would get 8,000 matches in the first couple days. But
Hold on.
then she sets up a profile. Oh, you can check it out if you want. Go ahead.
No. I'm just looking something up real quick.
Okay.
There are 8.8. So let's say 9 million people in New York.
Uh-huh.
If this was set in like shithole Alabama, right? Like where the population is 500. Yeah, okay. No one else there has Twitter. She gets no matches. I would
I
believe that.
guess.
But in New York,
I think is she in LA or New York?
I think she's in New York because that's where Matt Murdock hangs out.
No, I know, but I think he was doing a work exchange.
Mm. What city?
She's in LA.
Okay, Well,
I know.
I mean, I googled it and it's telling me where it's filmed. It was filmed in Atlanta and Los
No,
Angeles.
if you Google where is She-Hulk set,
Okay, fair enough. Still,
that's
LA, a
not
lot
that
of
one.
people as well.
Oh yeah, same point.
Yeah.
So okay, so again, Tatiana Maslany can't get any matches in LA, which that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But then when she sets up a profile as She-Hulk, she gets tons of matches.
Right.
And all these dudes are like, heck yes, my giantess fetish is finally coming into fruition, right?
I get it.
Yeah. But then she has these like conflicted feelings, like nobody likes Jen for Jen. They all just like me when I'm big and green and buff, and no one likes me for me. But Matt Murdock does. Matt Murdock likes Jen for Jen, and they bang when she is Jen. And so he validates her as her true self. So that's a big part of the story.
To be fair,
That's how you know he's a good guy. Like it's
fair,
portrayed.
he's
Well, just real quick,
blind.
Yeah, but he could tell if he's fucking 7 foot tall She-Hulk versus a 5'6" Tatiana, right?
Yeah.
But like it's portrayed as this moral good that he's like, yeah, I'm into you, normal Jen, and all the other dudes who are like, I'm into She-Hulk are like morally wrong and shallow for doing that. And it's like, look, they're into what they're into. Like we're not shaming these dudes because they like She-Hulk and they're not interested in this other version of her. I don't think it's okay to be like, because this one dude, like what is he? He's a pediatrician and he's really hot and he's, this sensitive, nice guy. He's not a douchebag at all, but he's only interested in dating She-Hulk and not interested in dating Jen.
Right.
And her friends are all like, that guy sucks. Like he's not right. And it's like,
so
he's into what he's into. He's not wrong.
Here's the thing. They're in LA, which immediately makes me think that he's dating She-Hulk because that'll help him get famous. That's my opinion there. He's like, if I date a superhero celebrity, that gives me status. I'll be on red carpets. I'll have my photo taken everywhere I go. Sure, I gotta fuck a giantess, but I'll live with it. I don't know that they set that up for those characters to be like that's their actual motivation. It's not like they just have some weird green fetish. But I immediately look for alternative motives, and it being in LA immediately draws that. So.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I mean, it just shows her on a few dates, and maybe a couple of those dudes were that way. But anyway, it was just, it's one of the throughputs is that, Matt Murdock is a real good one because he's not interested in having sex with She-Hulk. He just wants Jen, which I just thought was hilarious. It's like, okay,
I
whatever,
mean,
you guys.
like in 15 years after they've had a lovely relationship, they're gonna have to have. You gotta keep it
Well,
fresh.
well, that's another plot point of the season is she kind of doesn't like the She-Hulk part that was kind of foisted on her against her will.
Mm,
She kind of resents that She-Hulk is more desired than she is in a lot of ways. Like she only gets her job because she's She-Hulk,
right.
and
I
she has
get
to
that.
come into work as She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, nobody wants me for me. But then she loses her powers, and she's like, oh, I kind of miss it. And it's like, okay, so we're coming to terms with
Mm-hmm.
both parts of you now, which was good. I think
Right.
she had some good growth
Mm.
there.
So she
Anyway,
only
it's
gets a
not.
job because she's She-Hulk?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Because
yeah. They're like you, and when you're at work, you're She-Hulk. She's like, okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to think, is that like
Well, they
discriminating?
want
Like if
they.
they force her to be She-Hulk in the office? That seems a little.
Yeah, it does. It seems like some laws being broken,
Yeah. It feels
but
icky.
it does. What they say is they want her to head up this newly created division of their law firm that only handles superpowered people cases.
Superpowered people and Megan the Stallion.
And Megan the Stallion. Well, it's a elf from Asgard who's a shapeshifter and was pretending to be Megan the Stallion.
What?
Oh, that's it. This moron, because all the men in the show are idiots except for Matt Murdock.
Uh-huh.
This moron is dating an elf from Asgard who's a shapeshifter who is pretending to be Megan the Stallion. And then he finds out that she's not Megan the Stallion and he wants to sue her. And then the real Megan the Stallion finds out about this and she comes to be like, what's going on? And then that's where the twerking scene comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a weird side tangent plot. Like,
Yep. It certainly was.
yeah.
I forgot it happened until you brought it up.
Yeah. Because I saw that clip on Reddit and I was like, I don't like pulling in random celebrities for like cameos. Like, I don't see the point in it. I feel like you pull in too much of the real world into a place that wouldn't function the same. Like, these people wouldn't have, like, I can't imagine pop celebrities having the same kind of stardom that they do in a world with Iron Man,
Oh.
right? So when
It's
when
a different skill set though.
it is, but like it's all correlated to people's attention, and I don't think people have the same like focus on pop celebrities when there are superheroes. I feel like people put their attention elsewhere, and those
Well, but
people.
Megan Thee Stallion is touring. You can go to a Megan Thee Stallion concert. You can't go to like a Captain America concert. Like your fandom, I think, is going to stay with typical celebrities. You're probably going to be super interested in the Avengers, but like you can't. Like they're not putting out music videos and they're not walking red. You know what I mean? They're not
But
doing stuff that regular
but
celebrities are doing.
yeah, well, I mean, there's other things like there's this Captain America like museum that's where he like has to steal his costumes and stuff back from. Hawkeye goes
Yeah,
to an Avengers musical. Clearly, there are productions being made about Avengers and
I forgot
superheroes
about
in
that. That
general.
was pretty good.
You
Yeah,
can do like pilgrimages to like holy places and see like that's Avengers Tower and this is where there's like a plaque on the bridge outside of Central Station and all this shit. Like there'll be stands set up there selling merch and crap and like what I'm saying is that in a world where they have this level of superhero notoriety, there will be things there. And having a superhero then go, I would kill you, Megan the Stallion, like calling her by her full name and is super like into it. It's like, oh my god, this person is like a god a goddess among people, right? The same way I would react to like Beyond showing up in my house, Um, I just don't believe it so much, right? Like that to me is a little. This person is successful in our world. Are they as successful in that world? And should the reactions be the same? And I just don't think they are.
that's interesting. Because like, what if you're just really into music? Like, the Avengers don't provide you any real music, except, the Avengers the musical, but that's not, you know,
Yeah, I get what
that's
you,
not
I get
concert.
I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but pop music in general and like K-pop is entirely dependent on there being superstar levels of fan interaction. Like these things
Yeah.
only exist because they can be mass produced and sold to the masses, right? And like you cut that intention in half, I don't think there's nearly as many, right? This isn't like garage indie rock bands that are like, we're making music because we fucking love it and it means something. These are the people who are like, well, there was like 17 writers on this song, and it's got 3 bars of music, right, that I have to say,
Yeah.
right? Like it's a different level of thing. You can still have people that are super into that, but I think the people that are super into their kind of music are not the people who are like Britney Spears fans, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. So there are some people who today would be super into mass-produced pop music
Mm-hmm.
who, when given the option, would rather be massive Avengers stans instead.
I can see that. Yeah, that's what I would imagine, right? Like
Okay.
their attention would be split between this other massive thing. Like Spider-Man, everywhere he goes, everyone's drawing like Tony Stark memorials and stuff. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
what time do people have to be like, I need to spend 18 hours a day on Tumblr talking about KDA, or BTS or whatever the newest hot K-pop group is. Which, by the way, BTS going to Korean military service. I think the fans are devastated to find out that laws still apply to them.
I mean, if your most successful StarCraft players have to go, then yeah, I guess BTS has to go too.
Mm.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, Tony literally saved the world. So, I mean, I understand there's some level of adoration there.
Mm-hmm.
Although I am curious, like, you think there's video recordings of that event? Is it just like the
Oh,
Avengers?
yeah, I think there is.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because Pepper Potts saw it, and all of Tony's suits record what they see. Like Spider-Man's
Oh,
suits record
man.
everything.
Do you think Pepper was like, okay, upload this video of Tony dying to YouTube?
I don't think so. But what I
I
think
don't
is
either.
that suit's gonna sit around, connect to the Wi-Fi, and in like 18 years, Morgan's gonna find it and be like, "I want to see videos of my dad," and then she's gonna find it and be like, "Oh my god, this is Iron Man's final moments. I'm sitting on a YouTube gold mine."
Right. No, but what I'm
Not that she'll
saying
need money.
is, right. But today, do you think the Avengers were just like went on Oprah and they were like, Tony saved everyone? And they're like, awesome. That's
Yeah,
so heroic.
yeah, I can believe that. I
Okay.
can believe that there was a press tour and all this stuff. Yeah. Like, that's the first thing Iron Man does when he gets back from Afghanistan. He's like, call a press conference. And they're like,
Yeah.
then he feeds Obadiah Stane. He's like, call a press conference,
There is just so much stuff after everyone gets snapped back that we just don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I guess that would make sense. Like all of a sudden, everybody's back and everything is in extreme chaos, and a lot of people are dying. Which again,
Mm-hmm.
Disney does not want to explore that at all.
Nope.
But they're like, "How did this happen?" And then the Avengers can be like, "Wow, we defeated Thanos. Well, a version of Thanos from 2012, and we Tony snapped him away, and that's everything's cool now."
I'm willing to bet that they do not involve time travel in their explanations to the media. They don't open
Yeah.
that can of worms being like, yeah, we've got time travel now. So we hold like a universal nuclear missile. No one can ever
Yeah.
match us in an arms race. I think they just like ignore that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think. Do they even explain the fact that they had a magic glove that let them bring back everyone in the entire universe? Because that's a big power to have even on its own, right? Do they just say that like Tony and Captain America died maybe fighting Thanos, but they killed him, and I guess everyone knows that people died by magic, so they have to be like there was magic somehow.
Yeah, totally. I think that's what they say. They're like, look, there are these super magic stones. Thanos gathered them all, snapped everybody away. We got them back. We snapped everybody back into existence. Tony died in the process. The end.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
And Captain America also, like, I don't think they want to involve time travel. So I still think they don't want to tell people about time travel. So they
No.
don't say like Captain America went back in time. I think they say Captain
No.
America died. I think that's what they say.
Yeah, for sure. Like while we went on a 5-year mission to find the stones, Captain America died in the process. We got them all. We brought everybody back. The end. That's it. No time travel required. They don't have to know that Thanos destroyed the original stone, so time travel was required. And I don't think anybody knows about that. Yeah,
No.
I agree.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, just stuff that I wish they would. I don't know. They're just not interested in that period of MCU history at all.
It's
They're
just-
like, and everyone got snapped back. The end.
It's just too messy. It's just too messy.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier barely went into it.
And they touched on it in a geopolitical landscape, being like there was like tons of people who are now just like displaced from their homes, and all their homes are being given up to people who haven't been here in 5 years, you know?
But like that's one part of it, but how many millions of people came back to a world where like their spouse married someone else?
Yep.
Or a world where their spouse killed themselves because their love of their life is gone.
Right.
Like, there are so many screwed up people. So many screwed up people in the world post-snap, post-blip or whatever, but they just are not interested in exploring that at all.
Who are the people driving down the highway when all of the people who are in planes start raining down on them?
Right.
Like, that's got to mess up people on its own, right? Like, turns out it was raining men.
I think it's a wildly destructive thing that Hulk did when he snapped everybody back.
I mean, wildly
like,
destructive,
so destructive.
But it probably saved more people than it took.
Yeah, no, the net is they brought more people back, but of those that came back, a lot of them died real fast. And some people that didn't get snapped away were killed.
What do you think's worse? Being a dude on a plane who comes back, being a dude in a submarine who comes back, or the dude on the ISS that comes back?
Right.
Well, I mean, headcanon Aki in
doing a fall or drown.
Yeah, or asphyxiate. The ISS might be, but okay. In Spider-Man, we see that the basketball players, while playing basketball, the trumpeters come back, and someone throws a ball really hard at a trumpeter. So, clearly you can come back to some level of harm. Does that extend to all harm, or does he like magically put all the people at the destination airport? Who knows, maybe. But if they tell us that, I'll accept it either way. But they've shown that they are willing to harm people, even if like they did it for comedy, like that's played for laughs. But it shows that they're willing to hurt people.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think if they're just like, and then Hulk used the Infinity Gauntlet to wish everybody back with no deaths. Maybe there's a twisted ankle, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe somebody breaks an arm falling out of a tree or something, but like nobody dies.
Oh god, you know what? I really hope they play this later. Hulk brings back everyone on Earth, but not the rest of the universe. Like he only brought back
like,
people.
Screw
like
those
humans.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be funny. It's just like, I'm not worried about anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as we always say, Thanos' plan was stupid because repopulation would occur in about 11 years. So he was dumb. We're halfway back to going to the previous population levels anyway.
I mean,
yeah,
maybe after seeing half the people on the planet disappear and the environment come back and like air quality improve and seas get cleaner, maybe the population continues to grow, we get a better planet out of it anyway. So,
entirely possible.
That's
long run. Maybe it's good.
That is what Thanos wanted to impart: sustainability.
It's true. He did.
Yep. Big solar power guy.
Yeah, he was always talking about that. Anywho, yeah. So I mean, blah blah blah. So right now, Andor holds the Disney crown. I'm not sure if anything in the MCU has been as good as it either. So
Really? Anything?
yeah, for like okay, for spectacle and like this is really fun. There's a lot of better stuff,
Right.
especially in the Marvel side of things that I like. It just gives me chills and it's really fun to watch.
Right.
But as far as like this show gives you characters, makes you love them and care about them, and they have adult conversations that are good. It's Andor. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. The MCU has good moments. The MCU has good moments where there's, a decent conversation between two characters. There's a lot of like Cap and Tony's relationship is pretty, it's adult and it's nuanced and it's interesting. Um, but yeah, I just kind of feel like that's everything in Andor. Every character is written that same way, and to have that level of interaction and a relationship
Fair enough.
with the people around them. So
I will watch it immediately after this. That's what I'll do then.
wow, I thought you were gonna wait.
I mean, you're really selling it now, and if it doesn't live up, I can blame you.
Oh no. I mean, I don't know. Okay. Sounds good. We'll talk about it next week.
Talk about it next week.
Yeah. All right, cool. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Just before you go into your let's wrap it up stuff, I want to thank Duddles for once again bailing on the podcast today. Thank you, Duddles.
Thank you, Duddles. Appreciate it.
Thanks for not showing up, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Was he specifically invited?
Yeah, I talked to him the other day about it. He was like, "Yeah, well, come on, we'll talk about Artosis leaving and like how that's a huge freaking deal." Like,
It's Duddles. He's unreliable. It's cool. He's got a kid.
It's true. You've got 3 you manage to get here every week.
Yeah, but they're little. Like, little kids are a different animal than kids that are moderately independent.
I mean, his kid's, I think, littler than your little list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
His kid's like 1, 2.
No. I mean, it's walking. So it's at like 3?
2. 18 months is usually starting.
Okay. I mean,
my youngest is 9.
That's true. That's very different.
Yeah. Like I could be like, I'm doing a podcast and they won't burn the house down while I'm in here for an hour. Whereas a 2-year-old will kill themselves if you leave them alone for an hour. Guaranteed. It just happens. So yeah. I could have his wife watch the baby, whatever. It's dumb. All right, cool. So that is going to be it from us this week. This has been a moderately sick Falcon Paladin and Somicron with another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. Support the podcast directly at falconpaladin.store by buying merch. There are 2 new hoodies there. Check it out. You can also support the podcast directly without buying merch at patreon.com/Somicron. That were the other child. What other child? What are you talking about, Aki?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is this lore I'm unfamiliar with? Yeah, but that's it. So we do this live at twitch.tv/Somicron every week on Tuesday in the US and on Wednesday if you're on the other side of the world.
Yep.
So come join us, come hang out, and on YouTube too. The VODs get posted there. So that's about it. Thanks for hanging out with us. I should hopefully be not this sick next week. So look forward to that. And until next time, as always, thanks for being here and you take care of yourself.